Julie Fair with the Waxahachie Chamber of Commerce, and joining me is my special guest today. I'm gonna say his name, and it's gonna be amazing. Obi. No. Oh, I knew I was gonna mess it up.
Close.
Wait, hold on! Don't even tell me.
Okay, I won't.
Onobi.
There you go.
Okay.
Onobi. There you go.
So
there
Obi
you go.
Onobi. Beautiful. I love it. I see. The
Thank
problem
you.
is I've known this guy now for a few years, and I just call him Obi.
Yeah, Obi for short.
Yeah,
keep
so
it
I
easy.
was like, oh shoot, how do I say your whole name? So he's known as Obi when you do see him. So this is Obi with Altus Emergency Care here in Waxahachie.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Things are well. I mean, it's past 2 months been pretty crazy, but things are well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Altus Emergency Care, tell everybody where you're located. I'm sure they know by now, but just
Sure,
in case.
yeah. So we are here in Waxahachie. We are on Highway 77, right next door to Tamales.
Yes.
So if you know, like Mexican food, very good. Hey, little pitch for them, but
Yeah.
very good Mexican food. And then we're right in front of the Avenue Church.
Yep. So this is an interesting conversation for me because I feel like I explain this to people, even in my family, regularly. So what is the difference between a medical clinic that you may drive
Sure.
past and then Altus Emergency Care? Tell us the difference between them.
Sure, of course. So medical clinics, more like urgent care, family practice type of concept. They can handle things that, the everyday sniffles, everyday injuries. Oh, I don't know what's going on with pink eye, things like that, right? Which we can handle as well. But what the I guess the clearest way I can kind of explain who we are is if you have just like a hospital, right? If you take the hospital's ER and put it at a standalone building, that is who we are. So we can take care of every emergency situation. Whatever trauma comes to the door. I mean, here we've gotten gunshot wounds, we've gotten stabbing. One of my doctors actually delivered a baby here. So
wow.
we can do a lot of things, right? And I feel like the service we've provided for not just Waxahachie but Ellis County, I think it's second to none, really.
For sure.
Yeah, it really is. So.
I can vouch for that. I've been in there. My children have been in there. My family. So, I had a question right there on the tip of my mind. So when someone comes into the emergency department with you guys, if they have something that requires, I know what it was. If it requires them to need further hospital stay,
Sure.
what does that look like from there?
So when a patient comes to our facility, they know, okay, after being assessed by the doctor, and the doctor basically decides, okay, well, they need an extended level of care.
Like inpatient treatment?
Exactly. We have agreements and partnerships with, first of all, a local hospital here in Baylor, but we have other, Parkland Hospital, Children's Hospital. I mean, we have a great relationship with these different organizations. So we then stabilize the patient, make sure the patient is well and treat them that way. And then once the transfer is ready, we get either a local, I think AMR is what we use here. We have AMR, we have city ambulance, but a local ambulance company comes, picks up the patient, and we get a straight direct admit. So you don't have to. So if you come to our location and you need, just like if you go to a hospital emergency room, right, and you get seen in the hospital, and in the ER in the hospital department, and you need to be admitted, in the same concept. They have to make sure the bed's available, and then they take them upstairs.
Right.
Well, for us, if you got to make sure that if you have to be transferred, well, you get transferred from our location straight to the hospital.
Right.
Instead of going straight to the ED, you go straight to a bed.
Yes.
So the same concept. So it's pretty fluid.
Do you know what your wait times look like?
So when we're not in a pandemic or a surge in COVID, you get seen within minutes. I mean, it's sometimes there's no wait. I mean, you really go to our location as soon as you get done with paperwork. I mean, the nurse is taking you back. The nurse, the doctor, the ancillary staff is already in there. I mean, it's quick. Now that we're in a spike right now with COVID. We see wait times from 30 minutes to an hour and a half. Just depends.
Which is nothing.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
an emergency department.
Depend. Yeah, versus other hospital locations. So I mean, I think we do a really good job. I think our processes and our operations is very very solid, and so we really make sure that we take care of our people here. So
yeah, great. So, talk to us about like the billing side of it, how
Sure.
that works is that if someone says, well, I don't have insurance, or I want to cash pay,
Sure.
or how does billing look different for you guys? Is it the billing look the same as an emergency department?
Sure. So, in a hospital emergency department, if a patient is seen in there, if a patient, for instance, has to be worked up, has to get, X-ray, CT, has to, get labs done, etc. Right? Well, by the time you get discharged, in 2, 3, 4 weeks down the road, you will get a bill from 4 or 5 different type of bills, because you got to get a bill from the radiologist, you got to get bill from the ER, you got to get a bill
lab,
from the
the
physician.
yeah.
You got to, so you get like 5, 6 bills, right? The difference with Altus is you're gonna only get 2 bills from us, right? Because we try to encompass a global billing, right? So you get a bill from our physician group, which is our group that we indirectly manage, and then also our facilities. But compared to hospital billing, we're a lot cheaper. That's one.
Okay.
But so I'll give you a little scenario. So if a patient comes to our location and they do not have insurance, right? First, by law, Texas law, we have to see the patient regardless, right? We have to
treat the emergency.
Exactly. We have to a free medical screening, right? So we have to medical screen the patient, make sure they're okay. If the doctor says, okay, this patient's emergent, we have to treat them regardless the ability or inability to pay.
Right.
Right? But if a patient is non-emergent, that's a little different. So in our locations, we have different self-pay, I guess you can say. It's kind of like an ACA discount, Affordable Care Act discount. So it gives a patient the ability to pay cash. And we have great cash pay rates, very favorable to the patient. Because I think the idea for us is we don't want to inundate somebody with a big bill, because they won't come back. They won't come back. And I believe that we are this Waxahachie's, local emergency room. So we want to keep that name like that, right? So I feel like our billing process is pretty great. If a patient does come with insurance, same concept. Whatever their copay is, they pay the copay, and that's that.
Cool.
Yeah.
What are some things that people don't realize you maybe, like services you offer, like, obviously, are they testing for COVID there?
Yeah.
Like that?
So we so right now, during COVID, it's kind of different because, we don't ever do like outpatient. So for instance, somebody says, hey, I need a COVID test, I got to get back to work. It doesn't really work that way, right? Because then now we're acting like an outpatient clinic or outpatient unit, and that goes outside our licensure, right? But if a patient comes in there and say, hey, I've had strep throat, I've had the chills for a number of days, had a headache, then yeah, we treat the symptom, and part of that treatment plan is a COVID test.
Okay.
So
yeah, what are some other things that you guys do that people may not think of?
So we have a in-house laboratory, an in-house lab, and an in-house pharmacy. So we do a lot of things that, for instance, we had a patient that came to us, and he had a minor head bleed, and then he, we have the right equipment to find those things, right? I think we have a CAT scan, like I think 60 slice, but we have the right equipment to find the things that it's needed, because, we saved the guy's life. We had to get a crow down. When I say crows, a helicopter. I had to get the helicopter.
I was like, you had to get a crow.
We had to come get the helicopter to come, transfer him out. But, when people drive by a location, they think that we're just a clinic
doctor's
or a doctor's office.
Yeah.
But we're truly an emergency department, right? And whether it's the type of equipment we have, the type of supplies we have, the type of like narcotics or drug, the things that we have, it's very adequate. I think we do a good job in having those things, because it's hard to get them sometimes, right? But I think we've made enough relationship that's there to be able to have those things, that way we can kind of treat the patient and treat the community.
So you can get a helicopter there?
Yeah.
So I don't see, and I take for granted, because I've always worked in hospitals in the past.
Sure.
But it's interesting to me that people will say something like, well, what's going to happen if I have to get admitted, or what's going to happen if or they're not going to have the right equipment because they're not in a hospital. I'm like, no, that's not true. Yeah. You guys are able to do radiology type stuff. You're able to do the labs and to able to do, like I said, there's so many services that y'all have, and without going into other people in my family's private information,
Yeah.
I was pleasantly pleased to watch, like my parents even know, like, for instance, like while you're there, you do go through the same process of monitoring them, so they can actually be there and be monitored for a length of time as part of their visit. It's not like they go in and you treat them and they got to run home.
Yeah. So if for instance, if a patient comes to our location and the doctor believes that, okay, well, this patient, they don't need to go home. Right. They don't need to go home. We need to keep our eyes on them, but they don't believe that they need to be transferred and get that big bill in the hospital. Well, we keep them off. We observe them, and so we basically admit them to observation. So it's a 23-hour observation. It can go longer, but of course we have to alert the state. But we can observe the patient just to make sure the patient's good, the patient family's good. I mean, hey, whatever they need, we really do take care of them.
Yeah, they really do. So, like, I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know if this is something you want to brag about. To me, it's amazing. But like the food situation and how you handle that. Talk about that. If somebody's there for a while and their family.
So we it's called White Glove. We believe that we are there to take care of the patient and their family, right? So if a patient, for instance, is in observation and they've been there for several hours, part of our process is to make sure the patient eats, make sure the patient's family eats as well, because we believe that nobody wants to see the loved ones sick, hurt. Nobody wants to see that, right? And we believe that and nobody wants to see have an empty stomach either, right?
No.
So we try to make sure we take care of both things. So
it is definitely white glove service, though. It definitely feels very, what would you say, not boutique, but very what's
concierge?
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. So
Oh
shoot, we're out of time. Okay, Obi, thank you for joining us today. So
you're awesome.
Altus Emergency Care, where you're located, is next to Tamales and in front of the Avenue Church. And if they want to get in touch with you, they don't need to schedule. They can just come in.
No, it's come on in. Open 24/7. We never close. We never shut our doors.
Wow.
Never shut our doors.
It's so like Walmart.
Kudos to our kudos to our employees, because I mean they make it run good.
Yeah.
They're solid, good people. So very glad to have them. So.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me. That's Altus Emergency Care, and this is Obi joining me, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you.